Channel and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jahan and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Tracey Anderson Meghan Roup court case. So if you like this kind of thing, don't forget to give this video a like and do subscribe because it really helps my channel. So I accidentally named my video Tracey Anderson versus TSS, and lo and behold I get a comment saying I came straight here when I saw the lawsuit and I had no idea what they were talking about. That video came out on, what are we today? Or came out on Monday. So I was just as surprised to see that actually my title of my video isn't exactly what the lawsuit's about. It's more of a comparison of the platforms. But then I saw that Tracey Anderson is actually taking Meghan Roup to court. Now, I'm quite shocked about this. I'm quite disappointed as well because of a number of reasons, but just a bit of background. So Tracey Anderson is claiming copyright infringement on Meghan Roup and the Sculpt Society. Meghan used to work for Tracey Anderson between 2011 and 2017, I think. So she knows a lot of the moves and the way, the sequences of the moves. And what she's saying is that there was like an NDA or an internal document that they signed to say that they, what do they call it? A trainer's confidentiality agreement that they all sign. And that means they shouldn't be taking any confidential materials and using it for their own personal gain or teaching outside unless it's under the Tracey Anderson name. Now, this is an interesting one because as somebody who's done a comparison video a couple of days ago, and launched that, and is comparing the two moves, I do say in that video that there are some crossover moves, 100%, but there are crossover moves in all platforms. There are so many fitness platforms, as you know, out there. Deadlifts, for example, and compound movements. Joe Wicks and Whitney Simmons, they're all really similar. They all use, like Joe Wicks and Whitney Simmons are completely different people, but they all use like macros to lose weight and compound movements and HIIT training. So basically that is what Joe Wicks does. He just packages it up, and because of his personality and the person who he is, I love Joe Wicks. I think he's fantastic. He's been successful in packaging that, but it's nothing new, and it's almost like an old method being wrapped up to make it exciting, to make people want to work out again. Tracey Anderson method, she's saying she created this method from scratch, and she has it has scientific evidence, it's all her work and all her backing. She's an ex-dancer and so is Meghan. Now myself, I'm an ex-dancer as well, and a lot of the moves that Tracy does, they are definitely found in dance, definitely in ballet, definitely when we used to do kinesiology, when we used to do Alexander technique, and when we used to do Pilates as a way of conditioning in between classes in dance school. So I know for sure that yes, those moves have a bit of a tweak. She doesn't use her voice, there's certain things that are slightly different that she's adapted to make it her method, and maybe the way she trains are 7 days a week and all the mixture of things, but there are crossover to other methods as well in Tracy's workouts, for sure. Meghan has obviously worked for her and definitely been inspired by her because, like I've said, there are crossover methods there too. But then when it comes to movement and sequences of movement, where does it actually stop? Because I think this could be a bit of a dangerous one to say that you are taking sequences, because if you haven't done both, and like I've said to everybody, try the free trial of both of them and you will get a feel for them both. They do feel very different, to the point where even in the comment section of my videos, people say that Tracey Anderson's definitely this way, it's not, it's very different method, it's etc. So people who love Tracey Anderson appreciate that it's very different to something like the Sculpt Society. What I think has happened here, I just think it's a case of, yes, there are some crossover moves, some things, like I said, like legs to the corner, attitude, sort of the dancing arms and that kind of stuff. But if you look at the old kinesthetic books, when I look at some of my mum's old workout videos and books, again, I see those moves in there as well. So where did these moves really start? And when it comes to dance, it's just like saying, for me, like Martha Graham stole parts of ballet. No, the contemporary line definitely takes parts of the classical ballet in the way they move, in some of the names of the positions, but it's very different, it's different execution. I wonder where this is going to go. When I started doing TSS and I decided I'm going to do the Sculpt Society, I looked at other platforms as well. I looked at the Pilates Club, I looked at formulaic. I looked at aloe as well, and they all have very similar moves again. I decided to go with the Sculpt Society just because it looked fun and it looked like a platform and people that I could connect with. Again, that's another important thing. It's about who you connect with, because I do actually think there's space for everyone. So I do think for me, this is quite disappointing that this court case has happened. I am understanding on the side of when you've worked hard for something for years and you've built up a platform, you've built up a following. Tracey Anderson's been doing this since the 2000s. I was doing it in the 2000s when she released, when Gwyneth Paltrow came out with her arms and everyone was like, who's your trainer and all that. I was there when that all happened, and I did it then, and I've got the DVDs from back then, and I picked it up again and did it now. And yes, it's been going for a long time. I think still that this is a very different way of doing things. I am really interested to see how this will go, whether it would maybe be out of court settlement or whether it will actually go forward. And I do think that if this one begins, then where will it stop? Because there are so many. If I look at just those platforms I mentioned, the formulaic, aloe, the Pilates Club, I think that's the right one I'm thinking of. Let me just check. The Pilates Club, it was the Pilates Project. So that was another one as well, really similar, I think, with some of the moves and the way, the movement and some of the kind of calendar of when to do things. Again, really similar. I just hope that this doesn't leave a sour taste in some people's mouths, because sometimes the PR around this kind of stuff isn't great. I've got two videos, one that shows you the Tracey Anderson platform, one that shows you the Meghan Roup Tss Sculpt Society platforms, and you can see for yourself there is a lot of difference between how the platforms sit, how they operate, how the accessibility of one app versus another. You can see that there are differences, big differences for me in the platforms, but as big as you can get, because it is still a fitness platform. Like, there's not going to be huge differences between them, because basically you're sharing a video online, people are joining in, and you're doing live classes from the studio. Like, it's this really similar setup to what millions of gyms and millions of classes and millions of trainers had to do over lockdown, and just carried on with it because people enjoyed working from home and necessarily didn't want to go back into public spaces to work out again. And COVID has affected every country differently, so some have opened up more than others, and it's just a convenient way to reach your customer base, to be honest. But it would be an interesting thing to see. If you want to know the differences between the platforms, I encourage you to go and watch each single video and my video that compares the platforms to see what you think, and whether you think that they are similar or whether she has a point. And I do think that the sequences of moves, that kind of thing, I don't know. When I think about dance and I think about movement, it's really hard to say. It's a bit like when music, say musicians have an argument around copyright with music, and usually there's only the most common 4 chords used in a song, and it's just the way that you put the song together. So I think it's a complicated one. It will be interesting to see what happens, and I hope it's not too nasty in the press, because I think the press will have a field day. They will absolutely love two successful women fighting at each other in the press openly. They will absolutely love that, and I really hope that they don't give them their pound of flesh for that to happen. I hope it's done in a dignified way, so that the press don't have a field day pitting two women against each other as per usual. But let me know what your thoughts are below. It would be great to know, especially those who have done both, what you think of this whole situation. And I will keep you updated. I'm going to be following this, and I will continue doing videos on the Sculpt Society, because I think I've got loads of tips and tricks I want to share with you for those who want to do it. Equipment to use, how to stay motivated, how to pick out your workouts if you're going off the plans or on the plans. I've got lots of tips that I think I can share with you now. I'm absolutely loving doing it still. I do it in the morning before work at like 5 AM, and then on days where I'm not working, I do take it more casually, but always in the morning. For me, it's a great way to start my day, and I'm finding actually the gentle movements and not lifting heavy really helping my body and helping me sleep. and sleep is like a massive priority for me, and I'm going to do a video on that too. So I've got lots of things to talk to you about on that aspect. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts below, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.
Feel like falling deeper.